7 Keys to Her Kitty. How to Disable Her Resistance and Get Everything Psychology Tricks. The heart has its reasons which reason knows nothing of. Blaise Pascal. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something deeper than dating tips, pickup lines, or quick tricks. We're talking about real connection and what it actually takes to build trust, attraction, and emotional openness with someone you genuinely care about. Because here's the truth, a lot of people struggle in their love lives not because they're doing too little, but because they're trying too hard in the wrong ways. They rush, they perform, they try to impress instead of connect. They mistake intensity for confidence or speed for chemistry. But a meaningful relationship doesn't begin with pressure, it begins with presence. A woman's heart isn't something you break into. It's something you're invited into when she feels safe, respected, and genuinely understood. And that invitation happens through intention, not force. Psychologists like Freud and Jung spent decades exploring the layers of the human mind, the subconscious beliefs, stories, and emotions that shape how we respond to others. Attraction isn't just logic. It's history, intuition, and emotion working together. So today, we're going to break down 7 core principles that help you build a foundation of genuine connection. Not manipulation, not games, just healthy, grounded psychology that helps you show up as your best self while honoring her boundaries and individuality. And here's the thing, these principles work together. Miss one, and the connection can feel rushed or uneven. Practice them all, and you create the kind of atmosphere where trust grows naturally and attraction becomes mutual, not forced. So, if you're ready to learn how real connection is built, step by step, with respect and emotional intelligence, hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community reaches. All right, let's get started. Part 1. The key to the mind. The most impenetrable barrier you'll face is her mind, the fortress built by her past experiences, her critical thinking, and the social conditioning that constantly whispers, "Be careful." He only wants one thing. Until you break through this lock, your every move will be seen as an act of aggression or, worse, a pitiful attempt at manipulation. You must understand this, or you will fail. Far too many men make the fatal error of trying to crack this mental fortress with the most basic, predictable weapon, a compliment on her appearance. You have beautiful eyes, or your body is incredible, might seem like a good start, but what do you get in return? At best, a polite smile. At worst, a cold rejection. Let's face it, beautiful women hear these lines 1,000 times a day. To her, they're nothing more than background noise, the equivalent of a mindless hum. What does it really say? I'm evaluating you as an object, not as a person. And that's exactly what she feels: distant, objectified, and disconnected. A compliment like that doesn't elevate her. It reduces her to the same status as any other pretty face. It deepens the chasm between you, turning the exchange into a one-sided transaction. But here's where the master steps in. The real key to unlocking her mind lies in something completely different. It's the intellectual compliment, praise for the parts of her that she has consciously cultivated, the aspects of her that reflect her own work and growth. These are not physical attributes, but her thoughts, her opinions, her perspective on life. This is where the magic happens. What does an intellectual compliment look like? It's not flattery, nor is it an attempt to sound clever. It's an act of active listening, of genuinely admiring her inner world. Imagine you're in a conversation, and she shares an unconventional thought or a unique insight. Instead of dismissing it or offering a shallow response, you pause, reflect, and then speak from the heart. I love how your mind connected those two ideas. Most people just follow the same old patterns, but you see the deeper connections. Or you have such a rare ability to simplify complex things and make them so clear. Even more impactful, the way you just described that situation completely shifts my own perspective. Thank you for that. In that moment, something incredible happens on a psychological level. First, you immediately move beyond the generic suitor category. You're no longer just another guy trying to get in her pants. You've elevated yourself to someone who truly sees and hears her. Secondly, you've neutralized her primary defense mechanism, the one that constantly warns her that you're only after her body. That alarm falls silent because you've demonstrated real interest in her mind, not just her looks. Third, you've completely redefined the tone of the conversation, lifting it from base flirtation to an intellectual exchange between two equals. This is where the real allure lies. She is subconsciously drawn to you because you've engaged with her in a way that is deeper and more meaningful than what she's used to. This is what it means to use psychology tricks effectively. You've hacked into her mental security system, not by bypassing it with cheap tactics, but by gaining her trust and respect through genuine admiration. You're not a predator trying to steal a prize. You're an expert in recognizing the rare treasure she possesses within her. And now you have access to her attention, her trust, and most importantly, her genuine interest. The door to her mind has swung wide open, and just like that, she finds herself intrigued, curious, and ready to take the next step. Now, it's your move. What key will you use next? You've already demonstrated that you understand the power of female psychology, and you've begun the delicate dance of how to fall in love with someone not based on their exterior, but their inner world. Now, the journey continues, and the gates are open for you to explore. Part 2. The key to the ego. If a woman's mind is the armored outer wall of a fortress, then her ego is the guard standing at the gate. You can fight your way past the initial defenses, but once you reach this final line of security, you're about to face the ultimate test. This guard's mission is clear: sift through the crowd and keep out the weak, the unworthy, and those who come to worship, not to conquer. 9 out of 10 men fail this test miserably. They fall into the trap of supplication. They heap on endless compliments, stare at her with longing eyes, and agree with everything she says, treating her like a queen. But here's the hard truth. By doing this, they're confirming their own low status. You're not attracting women when you act like a fan, you're reinforcing your position beneath her. A woman instinctively turns away from someone who presents himself as beneath her. She doesn't need another worshiper, she needs an equal. Or better yet, someone who's just slightly above her. This is why the second key is so vital: the key to the ego. The key to the ego isn't about making a woman feel bad, it's about light provocation. The goal isn't to offend or humiliate, but rather to destabilize her, just enough to make her question everything she knows about herself. You want to nudge her ego, knock her crown off, and show her you're not just another admirer. You are an interesting, self-sufficient individual who refuses to be blinded by her charm. The art of light provocation. A light provocation is a statement that combines both a compliment and a challenge, a warm and cold interaction, a plus and a minus. This is a verbal nudge that forces her ego to wake up and think, who does he think he is? Let's break it down with an example. Imagine she's bragging about the endless parade of admirers who adore her, or how effortlessly everything falls into her lap. An amateur would either shrink into jealousy or gush about her beauty. But a high-value man, a master of this game, says with a sly grin, "You must be used to having all men at your feet. That must be terribly boring." See what just happened? The first part, all men at your feet, is a compliment, acknowledging her high value. But the second part, that must be terribly boring, is a challenge. You're devaluing her world by implying that your world, the one where you achieve things, is far more exciting. This challenge makes her see you not as a fan, but as someone who's in control of his own life. Masculine energy doesn't worship. It attracts, it challenges, and it stands strong. Here's another example. Let's say she displays a cute but childish character trait. Instead of falling over yourself in admiration, you say with a playful smile, "There's a bit of a spoiled child in you." It's both charming and unbearable at the same time. Once again, it's a mixture of a compliment and a challenge, charming and unbearable. You're not judging her. You're not worshiping her either. Instead, you're observing her, analyzing her, and offering your unique perspective from a position of equality. You're telling her, "I see you, but I'm not impressed by everything you do. I have my own world, and it's pretty damn interesting too." Shifting the power dynamic. What happens next is pure magic. This approach pulls her out of her comfort zone. She's used to men either adoring her without question or criticizing her without understanding. But you? You're not following the script. You've stepped off the path she's used to. This shifts the power dynamic instantly. She's no longer the one evaluating you. You've put her in the position where she needs to earn your approval. The second she feels this shift, her subconscious sends a clear message. He's not like the others. He sees right through me. He's not trying to please me. Maybe I need to please him. And there it is. That's when the second lock clicks open. You, the high-value man, are no longer just another guy in the crowd. You're now an intriguing figure, someone whose approval she has to earn. You've disrupted the pattern, created intrigue, and left her with a challenge that she subconsciously wants to conquer. And that, my friend, is when the magic truly begins. Part 3. The key to the imagination. Unlocking the key to her imagination is the most subtle, yet incredibly powerful, step in creating a connection that ignites desire. You've already opened her mind, showing that you value her as an individual, and you've engaged her ego, demonstrating you're her equal. But now, you've reached the third and most essential lock, the door to her imagination. Up until now, your interactions have been rooted in logic, social dynamics, and mental games. It's time to shift gears and engage her on a deeper level, one where her body becomes a canvas for the sensations you invoke with your words. This is the art of verbal kinesthetics, the ability to use language to trigger vivid, physical sensations in her mind. You see, our brains are wired to respond to words as if they're real experiences. When you describe the feel of something, her body responds as though it's happening right there and then. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Similarly, your words don't just tell stories, they create experiences. This is how you begin to touch her without physically touching her. Picture this. Instead of simply saying, "I was at the beach," you could say, "I remember lying on the beach late in the evening, long after the sun had set. The sand under me was still warm, almost hot, while the wind from the sea was cool, sending goosebumps down my skin." Notice the difference? You haven't even mentioned her, yet her mind has already experienced warmth, cold, and the electric sensation of goosebumps. You've awakened her body, and the imagination you've stirred is now working for you. This technique doesn't just apply to physical sensations. You can use it in any context. For instance, talking about something as simple as coffee can take on a whole new dimension. While an amateur might say, "I like coffee," a master would say, "I love the moment when you hold a hot, heavy ceramic mug in your hands." You breathe in that rich aroma, then take the first scorching sip and feel the warmth spreading through your body, waking you up from the inside. By weaving these sensory details into your stories, you're not just talking about coffee. You're stimulating her senses, tuning her body to a heightened state of awareness. Remember, you're not talking about attraction or even intimacy directly. You're creating an experience. This is a form of seduction so subtle, yet so potent, that it operates beneath the surface of the conscious mind. It's where real power lies. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism teaches us to control our responses to external stimuli, to create an iron mind that isn't easily swayed. But even in the pursuit of Stoic win, we can harness the power of words and imagination to connect with others on a deeper level. This mastery of verbal kinesthetics is the embodiment of that philosophy. You must learn to weave the power of words to evoke sensations, because when you control her imagination, you control the game. The most successful men throughout history, those who master both mind and body, have understood this principle. To truly captivate and lead, you must first awaken her senses. Don't underestimate the power of a single word. Just as a Stoic mind can find peace amidst chaos, you must find power through subtlety. The more you practice the skill, the sharper your ability to tap into her deepest desires. Each word, each carefully crafted phrase, unlocks a new layer of her body and mind. In the end, you will have achieved not only mastery over your own mental state, but over the very forces of attraction themselves. Never forget, in the game of life and love, those who understand the language of sensation, those who harness the old Stoic wisdom of emotional control, win. If you found this valuable, don't forget to comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit from these insights. Subscribe for more wisdom on connecting and understanding the psychology of attraction. Comment to remember, I master the art of communication. This simple statement will help you internalize the power of words and imagination. Let's engage and elevate the conversation together. Part 4. The key to Bio-Di-Eso. Her mind is engaged, her ego is curious, and her imagination has been awakened. You've set the perfect stage to transition from words to action. But here's the trap most men fall into. They rush, fumbling clumsily when they attempt to kiss or hug her too soon, only to be met with a firm "don't" and a raised hand. Why does this happen? Because they skip the most critical step, understanding her personal boundaries. You cannot just leap into her intimate space without permission. You must first earn unspoken approval. This is where the art of non-sexual touch comes into play, a subtle yet powerful technique that serves three key purposes. It normalizes physical contact, tests her comfort zone, and breaks down invisible barriers between you two. It's not about moving too quickly or making a physical advance that feels forced. It's about understanding the rhythm of her comfort and responding to it with grace. What is non-sexual touch? It's not about caressing or making any overtly intimate gestures. It's about small, purposeful touches that feel completely natural in the context of your interaction. Let's say you open a door for her and, in that brief moment, you gently place your hand on the small of her back. It's firm, not aggressive, just a guiding gesture. You let your hand linger only for a fraction of a second, and then it's gone. You don't linger for her reaction, nor do you search for approval in her eyes. It's as if this touch was simply part of the flow of the moment. Another example, during a lighthearted conversation, you laugh at something she says and, in the process, you touch her forearm lightly. It's a soft, brief contact that strengthens your emotional connection. It's not meant to hint at anything sexual, it's just part of building rapport. Or, when guiding her, you gently place your hand on her shoulder to lead her in a direction. You might even brush off a bit of dust from her sleeve. Each of these touches is brief, purposeful, and, above all, non-sexual. These are the keys to unlocking the boundary that most men forget to address. The touch must make sense in context. It must be completely non-threatening. It's about giving her the opportunity to feel safe. If she doesn't pull away, if she doesn't stiffen, her subconscious registers that your touch is not a violation. She marks a mental checkbox that says, his touch is safe. He respects my boundaries. I can trust him. Every touch is a test, a little calibration. You're sending a signal with your touch, and her response will tell you everything you need to know. If she leans in or relaxes her posture, you're on the right path. You've crossed a small barrier, and now her mind is opening to you. But if she pulls away or tenses up, that's not a rejection. It's simply a cue that you've moved too quickly. You don't apologize or make a scene. You pull back and continue as if nothing happened, waiting for the next natural opportunity to make another gentle touch. It's all part of a dance. You calibrate, you adjust, and you test again. This dance is all about patience and awareness. You're not rushing toward any goal. You're learning her boundaries, feeling for where her comfort lies, and slowly dissolving the invisible lines that separate you. Every touch you make, every signal you send, is building toward a deeper connection. You're communicating without words, letting your presence become as natural to her as the air she breathes. Over time, she will stop noticing these subtle touches, as they'll become part of the natural flow of your interactions. And when that happens, when she no longer pulls away, when her body simply accepts your touch without hesitation, that's when the fourth lock is open. The door to her personal space has been unlocked. You've gained her unspoken permission to enter that space. You're no longer a stranger in her world. You've become an insider, and that changes everything. This is the moment when a whole new world of possibilities opens up to you, and it's time to take the next step, with confidence, in the ongoing dance of connection. Remember, these are the subtle psychology tricks that women's minds respond to. Understanding female psychology is crucial in any relationship, whether it's just beginning or deepening. It's about learning how to fall in love with her mind, body, and soul. Use these touches, calibrate, and watch as she opens up to you more and more. Don't rush. Be patient. You'll get everything you desire if you respect her boundaries and understand her psychology. That is the power of mastering the art of non-sexual touch. Part 5. The key to instincts. Up to this point, you've built comfort, curiosity, and warmth. You've shown confidence, presence, and genuine interest. But deeper attraction happens when the connection shifts from purely conversational to something felt, something shared physically, emotionally, and instinctively. Not through tricks, not through sneaky touches, but through mutual openness and clear, welcome closeness. Real chemistry isn't about finding secret zones. It's about shared moments where touch feels natural, moments she leans into just as much as you do. This is the shift from simply being enjoyable company to becoming someone she feels drawn to, understanding the power of invited touch. There's a huge difference between touching someone to create a reaction and responding to genuine closeness you both feel. The second is where true intimacy grows. Touch becomes meaningful when she's comfortable. She reciprocates. She moves closer. The moment itself calls for it. When the energy between you is mutual, even simple touch becomes electric. Hashtag 3 areas where mutual touch can naturally grow. These aren't targets. They are places where shared closeness tends to feel comforting, warm, and connective when the moment is right and both of you welcome it. 1. The back of the shoulder or upper back. This is a warm, reassuring place to touch when she's already leaning in or laughing with you. A gentle touch here is grounding and affectionate, and if she relaxes into it or touches you back, it signals that she enjoys being close. 2. The hand or forearm. Touching hands, brushing fingers, holding her hand briefly when you're telling a story, or letting your fingers trail lightly on her forearm can feel intimate without being intrusive. The key is noticing. Does she keep her hand there longer? Does she turn her palm toward you? Does she lightly touch your hand back? Reciprocity is what turns a simple touch into a shared moment. 3. The back of the arm or side of the waist, only when invited by her body language. If she moves closer, stands near you, or naturally enters your personal space, a light touch at the side of her waist or the back of her arm can feel deeply connective. Not because it's secret, but because she chose closeness, and you responded to it thoughtfully. Hashtag what this actually reveals about her. When touch is mutual, you'll notice she mirrors you. She stays close. She touches you on her own. Her voice softens. She smiles more. She maintains long eye contact. These are signs of shared comfort and growing attraction. They aren't tricks or tests. They're simply the body's way of saying, I feel good around you. The shift from warm to hot. When touch happens naturally and reciprocally, something powerful happens. The interaction becomes embodied, not just verbal. You'll feel it. She'll feel it. And she'll show it in ways like leaning into your hand, be brushing your arm while talking, playing with her hair, standing closer than before, letting silence become comfortable. This is the moment where you both sense the connection deepening. You don't force it. You don't rush it. You simply stay present, watch her cues, and move with her, not ahead of her. This is what truly separates a high-value man from the rest. He doesn't chase intimacy. He co-creates it. Part 6. The key to authority. Every step you've taken up to this point has been preparation, slow, deliberate, and designed to create a solid foundation for the connection between you. You've built trust, awakened her interest, and made her feel comfortable. Now, you're at a critical moment where she's sending you all the right signals, lingering eye contact, subtle physical cues, and a closeness that suggests she's ready. But at this moment, many men make a crucial mistake. They ask for permission. They look into her eyes and ask, "Can I kiss you?" The instant those words are spoken, the connection you've worked so hard to build can begin to unravel. You, the confident leader, can suddenly seem unsure, diminishing the energy you've cultivated. Why does this happen? Because in this moment, no one wants to feel pressured to make a decision. In healthy relationships, Both people want to feel comfortable and trusting of one another, and neither person should feel obligated to make a choice that could create awkwardness. True connection is about mutual understanding and respect for each other's needs and desires. When one person asks for permission, it can create a power imbalance where the other person feels uncomfortable or put on the spot. At this stage, the key is not to ask for permission, but to confidently lead the interaction in a way that respects both your needs and hers. It's about recognizing the subtle cues she's giving you, the way her eyes linger on you, how the physical distance between you closes naturally, the way she's touching or leaning in. These are her signals that she's ready, and it's your job to confidently take the next step. However, this doesn't mean rushing forward or making her feel uncomfortable. It means understanding that leadership in a relationship isn't about control. It's about guiding the moment with respect and confidence. Instead of asking, "Can I kiss you?" which places the burden of decision on her, simply focus on creating a space where both of you feel comfortable taking the next step together. A simple, confident statement like, "Come closer," can be an invitation, not an order, but a clear and respectful direction that shows you're in tune with the moment and her needs. This approach signals that you're aware of her feelings and desires, and you're offering her the space to move forward without pressure. At this point, your role is to lead with clarity and confidence, without forcing or rushing anything. You're not demanding anything from her. You're inviting her into a shared experience where both of you can feel free to express yourselves. The key is making sure that you both feel at ease and trust each other. There is no uncertainty or hesitation in your actions, but at the same time, you're being considerate of her comfort level. After speaking those words, "Come closer," you don't wait for her to make a decision or give you permission. You move with confidence, and as you close the space between you, you kiss her gently but assuredly, without hesitation. You're not a passive participant, waiting for cues. You're the one leading the moment, shaping the experience with respect, confidence, and clarity. This is where your role is defined, not as someone who dominates or forces, but as someone who leads with calm assurance. It's not about being overbearing or taking away her power, but about providing the safe space for her to feel comfortable and free to explore her desires. When you lead in this way, you help her let go of any doubts or insecurities. She can relax into the moment and experience what she truly wants without guilt or hesitation. Remember the timeless wisdom: he who is brave is free. In relationships, being brave means being able to lead with confidence and respect, to create a space where both partners feel comfortable to be themselves. The Stoic mindset, staying calm, clear, and unwavering, helps you build an environment where she feels safe to follow your lead. By embodying this strength, you can create a connection that's rooted in trust, comfort, and mutual desire. At the end of the day, leadership in a relationship is about guiding with clarity, understanding, and respect. It's about taking responsibility for the moment while still giving her the freedom to express herself. When you do this, you both unlock a deeper, more genuine connection, and your relationship can grow stronger from a place of mutual trust. Part 7. The Master Key, the Goal. When all the doors are open, when she trusts your mind, respects your strength, desires your closeness, and feels your confidence, she will be ready to share her most precious self with you. You've conquered what lies on the surface. Now, there's just one last element that sets you apart: the key to her heart. At this crucial moment, when victory is within reach, you don't rush. You pause, savoring the power of what's about to happen, and you use the final key, the one that unlocks her soul, not just her body. This is where many men fall short because they rush toward personal gratification, but the wise one knows better. What matters is that you focus entirely on her satisfaction before thinking of your own. This is not just about winning her heart, it's about becoming an incredible partner. You're not doing this to possess her. You want to give her an experience she may have never had before. This attentiveness and mindfulness is the turning point in the relationship. Before, you might have been the one leading, but now you become the one providing comfort and understanding. What does this look like in practice? You listen and pay attention to the little things, from her breath to the subtle movements of her body. Your goal is not to check off a list, but to create a space where she feels completely at ease and satisfied. You're not just going through the motions, you're truly attuned to her sensations and responses, guiding her toward a fulfilling experience. Why is this so important? There are several reasons, and understanding them can change how you approach relationships. First, when you invest time and energy into making her feel good without expecting anything in return, you're showing deep respect and self worth. This isn't about expecting immediate reciprocity, it's about demonstrating confidence and understanding within the relationship. Second, when you focus on her emotions and create a safe, comfortable environment, you're building a strong and lasting emotional connection. You become the one who not only brings physical satisfaction, but also emotional fulfillment, creating a relationship that is both deep and respectful. Finally, when you show attentiveness and sensitivity to her needs and desires, you're not only creating a sense of fulfillment in the relationship, but also fostering an environment where both of you feel valued and understood. This isn't about power dynamics, it's about sharing and supporting each other to create meaningful, memorable moments. The most important thing is understanding and respecting her feelings and needs. A successful relationship isn't about manipulation or control. It's about listening, sharing, and building a connection based on trust and respect. When you achieve this, you won't just be the person she desires to be close to, but you will also be the one who brings peace and long-term happiness into her life. Well, we've walked through the entire journey together. 7 keys, 7 steps from indifference to trust and desire. Let's take one final look at the map. You began by engaging her mind, showing her you see her as a person. Then you touched her ego, positioning yourself as an equal. You sparked her imagination with your words, setting the stage. Slowly, you crossed her boundaries, making touch feel natural. You awakened her instincts, revealing your understanding of her most intimate zones. At the key moment, you stepped up as the leader, taking the responsibility off her shoulders. And in the grand finale, you gave her the pleasure she deserved, asking nothing in return, yet receiving everything in response. As you can see, there's no place for force, vulgarity, or manipulation in this system. It's all about art, rooted in a deep understanding of female psychology, founded on respect and honed through skill. Freud once said that behind the surface of our social lives lies a vast ocean of unconscious desires. But to reach those treasures, you don't need a crude raft, you need a finely crafted ship. And now, you've just received the blueprint for that ship. You've learned that every step matters. Every detail counts. You are no longer just hoping for luck. You are now the master key holder who unlocks a woman's heart and mind, not with force, but with art. Now, here's the question for you. What is the single most valuable piece of advice about the psychology of women that you would give your younger self? Think back to when you were in your 20s or 30s. What message would you send back in time? Drop your wisdom in the comments below. Let's not just fill this space with comments, but create a true anthology of masculine wisdom. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey, and remember, mastery comes with patience and respect. Until next time, take care and keep learning.